So the Son is identified as the radiance, the effulgence of God's glory, the outshining of the divine glory. And that's why the revelation that comes to us in and through him is so climactic. In Hebrews 1, it says, God in times past spoke to our fathers through the prophets at various times and in many ways, but in these last days, he's spoken to us through his Son. And so the argument goes like this. It was not the Son who spoke in the past. That's what has happened now in the New Testament, right? In the past, it was God who spoke. So you see the potential problem here. I have argued that the Son is active in the Old Testament and was active in particular as the angel of the Lord. That expression is a divine theophany, and numerous factors point to identifying that as the pre-incarnate Son. So what do we do then with a text like Hebrews 1? Doesn't it clearly say that it was God who spoke in times past, but it's the Son who spoke in these last days? Now, before resolving that, let me point this out. There's an interesting contrast here. What the text is saying, it doesn't get Unitarians off the hook of Jesus being God, right? Because what the text is saying is that the revelation that came in the past was partial, incomplete, but now it's perfect. Now it's complete. He spoke at various times in many ways. You're supposed to see the partial, incomplete nature of the prior ways of and manners of God revealing himself, and the definitive nature of the revelation that has come now in the incarnate Christ, right? In these last days, he has spoken. There's a finality. He has spoken in his Son. Now, why is that? Why is it that now this revelation to us is so definitive, so final in contrast to what came before? And this is the thrust of the whole book. The Son is superior. The Son is greater than angels, than prophets, than everything else. The reason this is definitive is because the Son, who is the Son? The author of Hebrews says he is the radiance of God's glory and the exact representation of his nature. So the Son is identified as the radiance, the effulgence of God's glory, the outshining of the divine glory. And that's why the revelation that comes to us in and through him is so climactic. So Unitarians don't get off the hook. Jesus is God according to the text. In fact, it says there too that it was through the Son that the worlds were made. So you can't say the Son wasn't present in the Old Testament just because it says God in times past spoke to the fathers, to the prophets. But now here's the interesting thing. What people assume is being stated there is what they're thinking of is here's the people, and then God is speaking to them. And so where's the Son? But actually what it says is God spoke to our fathers through the prophets. Okay, so the prophets are the means by which the word of God was spoken to the people. But how did that revelation come to the prophets? The author of Hebrews doesn't say. The author of Hebrews tells us how the word went from the prophets to the people. God spoke to our fathers through the prophets. So the prophets were the means, the agents of this revelation being communicated to the people. We're not told the mode of the revelation as it was given to the prophets. And in that case, then the door is wide open for the angel of the Lord as one of the ways by which people heard the word of God. But that's not the only way. I mean, ordinarily, the way the prophets received revelation was not through theophanic visions. That happens, right? You get, usually at their inaugural call to the prophetic office, they have a vision of God. Right? Isaiah 6, Isaiah's call, Ezekiel 1, Exodus 3, Moses' call. But ordinarily, the mode of revelation is inspiration. The Spirit inspires a person. Other times, it speaks of revelation as though the prophet is being transported through some visionary experience into heaven and overhearing what's being said.